on tape is really good. They're a great team. They play really hard. Similar in that regard to Golden State and what we just faced. Even though they're coming off of a back-to-back, that I don't expect them to let up at all. They're going to pick up full. They're going to be disruptive. I think for us, I think we got to get the ball inside to our post players. I think that's one way or one key to the game that will help us win is to get AB and Mo and really whoever our post players are the ball in the paint and let them go to work. But yeah, I mean they're a great team. What they've been able to put on tape at the beginning part of this year is really impressive, especially with this franchise coming back.
Caitlin Clark addressed reporters ahead of Indiana Fever's upcoming matchup against Portland, touching on the team's defensive struggles and what areas still need attention. Her willingness to speak candidly about those shortcomings signals a growing comfort with stepping into a leadership role on the squad. Clark noted she had not been part of the Portland game personally, but acknowledged that Portland has put together strong tape early in the season, a testament to how far the franchise has come. She described them as a hard-playing team, similar in effort and aggression to Golden State. Despite Portland being on a back-to-back, Clark does not expect any drop in their intensity, anticipating full court pressure and a run-and-jump trapping style.
Put on tape at the beginning part of this year is really impressive, especially with this franchise coming back. So you got to give them a lot of credit, but we feel like we have ways that we can try to exploit them in certain areas. It's just being able to stick to that.
Okay, just one for me. So I said that you guys have made strides defensively.
Yeah.
I know it's not where you guys want it to be yet, but as you guys continue to grow your chemistry, what specifically have you seen from the defensive end that you guys have improved on and want to highlight?
I think we've simplified a little bit, so I think that's helped us, especially these last few games.
Her key suggestion for breaking that down: move the ball quickly, maintain proper spacing, and avoid trying to dribble through the traps. Getting the ball into the post, specifically to AB and Mo, was highlighted as a central strategy for the night. On defense, Clark reflected on the strides the team has made while being clear that there is still significant room to grow. Earlier in the season, the Fever were relying heavily on switching coverages. More recently, the coaching staff has simplified their schemes, and that shift has helped.
These last few games, prior to this, we've done a lot of switching. I think that can make it easier at times, but I think there's still a level of physicality that we're beginning to play with, but we can improve on a lot still. But we've simplified some stuff, found things that have worked. I think through the early part of the season, you're trying some different stuff. Obviously, you have the preseason games, but when you get into early action, like it's still, testing the waters a little bit of what's going to work for, our personnel, and then obviously taking into consideration their personnel at the same time. But I think our attention to
Clark pointed to physicality as something the team is developing but has not yet fully built, more than systems or schemes. Though, she credited the growing familiarity between teammates as the biggest driver of improvement, with several new faces on the roster, and Clark herself having missed significant time last season. Building defensive cohesion takes time. The difference between 5 players moving as individuals versus 5 moving as a single unit, that, in Clark's view, is where the most noticeable progress has happened. Raven Johnson also came up in the conversation.
Their personnel at the same time, but I think our attention to detail and, the more comfortable you get playing with your teammates. Obviously, we have quite a few new members, and I wasn't in the lineup even much last year, so just building that connection, like that's as much as that's important on the offensive end, it's just as important on the defensive end. You got to all work together, and I think we're all starting to kind of move as 5, like just all as one. I think early on it was kind of 5 individuals out there, so I think that's the area we've kind of improved the most through the early part of the year, but I know Steph wants us to get better and better, and we'll continue to improve in that area too.
After posting a career-high 16 points against Golden State, Johnson was praised for the energy and spark she brings off the bench. Her shot-making, her ability to get downhill, and her disruptive defensive presence as qualities that make her increasingly valuable. Johnson is expected to be a consistent contributor throughout the season, and the chemistry developing between her and Clark has been one of the more encouraging storylines of the early stretch. Head coach Stephanie White echoed several of Clark's points when asked about the defensive growth. White emphasized that no coaching staff is ever fully satisfied, but acknowledged the team has found better footing by simplifying coverages and identifying what works best for their personnel.
Need to improve in that area too. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Anything else? That's all we got? You go ahead now.
Well, you talked about teammates getting more comfortable. Raven had a career high 16 against Golden State. How have you seen her just get more comfortable coming from college to now?
I thought Raven was amazing last game. Brought that spark off the bench that we kind of needed, and getting confident with her shot making ability. She's getting downhill, getting her feet in the paint, setting her teammates up, and then obviously the thing she can do every single game is
She spoke about the value of having versatile players who can guard multiple positions, noting that flexibility allows the team to deploy smaller lineups while maintaining defensive integrity. When asked to describe the traits of an elite on-ball defender, White outlined a clear picture: active hands, active feet, the discipline to stay in front without giving up ground, and above all, the mental toughness to compete consistently. Speed and athleticism matter, she said, but mentality and willingness often matter more. The Fever are set to face Portland next, with Indiana heading into a 6-day break from game action afterward.
She's getting downhill, getting her feet in the paint, setting her teammates up, and then obviously the thing she can do every single game is be disruptive defensively. She picks up full. So I think she's starting to figure it out and get more comfortable. She's capable of so many amazing things. So she's going to be a big part of this team, like going down the stretch here, especially throughout the year. Is she's a piece off the bench that we really need to be successful, and I think she's done a tremendous job early on, just learning and kind of putting that to use throughout the game.
Small teams playing with versatile lineups, and having the versatility that KK brings offensively and defensively.
The NBA media cycle has shifted noticeably against Caitlin Clark. A growing number of columnists and commentators, figures like Carrie Champion, Jamale Hill, Renee Montgomery, and others in that same corner of sports media, have joined together in criticism directed at the Indiana Fever star. The timing is notable. One subpar shooting performance opened the doors wide, and the negative coverage flooded in fast. A recent column making rounds online is being described by Clark supporters as a straight-up hit piece.
Offensively and defensively, especially when we were in a lot of our switches. Has kind of kept Didi out of the rotation. Certainly not something that's going to continue. I mean, the matchups that we have moving forward, when you think about our next 3 or 4 games, I expect Didi to be back in the rotation.
What are you seeing from Portland's defense, and just in terms of like how Alex wants to run things? Seems like intensity and trapping are a big piece of his puzzle, and how you.
The headline alone sets the tone. Clark's honeymoon is over, the piece declares, framing it as an inevitable reckoning for any athlete who reaches that level of fame and adoration. The argument being made is that LeBron James went through it, Tiger Woods went through it, Peyton Manning went through it, and now Clark is next in line. But the column goes further than simply saying her star has faded. It takes direct aim at her behavior on the court.
Big piece of his puzzle, and how you attack that.
Yeah, I mean, we got to take care of the ball. They're gonna come with the pressure, full court pressure. The run and jump style trapping. We can't run away from the ball. We've got to make sure that we have outlets. Being able to be available in the quarter court with the hard hedges and the traps. And we got to get the ball out of our hands. We got to move it. We can't try to dribble through those things. It's about spacing. It's about timing, and it's about making ourselves available.
I'll ask you the same question I asked CC, in the sense of you guys are still working on your defense.
The writer accuses Clark of flopping, of theatrical reactions to contact that wouldn't fool even the most forgiving observer. It criticizes her confrontations with referees, the clapping, the eye-opening gestures, what the column calls dripping condescension toward officials. It raises questions about her injury situation, calling the team's handling of the
other day, and man, the Wolves have come out of the woodwork. I mean, Grand Marshal at the Indy 500, Morgan Wallen, see, we told you. What are we doing here? What are we doing? So now Caitlin Clark is exhausting. By the way, she accused.
The argument is that kids watching her play are absorbing those habits, and that is a problem. The column does acknowledge Clark's talent, the deep threes, the ability to change a game's momentum in seconds. None of that is disputed. Even the trash talk and competitive edge are framed as acceptable parts of the game.
She accuses her of being cringy and throwing tantrums in this article. Let's look at this hit piece. I mean, this is a bona fide hit piece, folks. There's no other way to describe it. Caitlin Clark's honeymoon was never going to last. Here we go. Any athlete this hyped and this adored always gets its comeuppance. I love how the media members, kind of like, oh, shithead.
The beef with Tiffany Hayes of the Valkyries, for instance, is described as the kind of entertainment that makes sports worth watching. But the piece separates competitive fire from what it calls petulance, and it places Clark's behavior firmly in the second category. The piece also pushes back on the idea that Clark is being targeted because other players are jealous of her. It argues that she gets guarded harder because she has the ball constantly and is dangerous from anywhere on the floor. And that is just smart defense, not persecution.
How the media members, kind of like, oh, shithead the other day trying to do a victory lap over his media credentials. The uppity bullshit from the media. I mean, again, this is why I don't have respect for these people. The uppity, I'm better than you. You're not a doctor. Just point that out. You're not a doctor, all right? We don't call you Dr. Nothing. God, the look at me, the see me.
On that specific point, there is significant disagreement from Clark's supporters. The counter-argument is that race plays a real role in how Clark is perceived and treated by parts of the WNBA establishment and media. The claim is that some of the animosity directed at her has nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with who she is. That divide between those who see her as wronged and those who see her as overdue for accountability is exactly what the column describes as a kind of psychological test.
The look at me, the see me. It's happened to LeBron, it's happened to Tiger Woods, it's happened to Peyton Manning. But Clark's own actions are accelerating hers. The flopping that even a C-list actor would find cringy. The histrionics over calls and the disrespect towards refs, the indignation over reasonable questions about.
Fans either believe Clark can do nothing wrong, or they see an entitled player who plays the victim. The middle ground, according to the article, is disappearing fast, whether or not the criticisms reflects genuine concern for the sport or something. Agenda-driven is a debate that shows no signs of cooling. What is clear is that open season on Caitlin Clark in the media has officially begun, and every stumble on the court is now going to be amplified loudly.
Reasonable questions about health of a player who missed most of last season with a series of injuries. It's made Clark into the WNBA's own Rorschach test. Either you think she can do no wrong or she's an entitled brat. And the number of people who don't hold an opinion seems to be dwindling in what is only her third season. Look at this sub headline, folks. Trash talk is fine. Tantrums are not. Clark is a transcendent player. Save it, woman. Save it. You're already on the shiznit list officially. No one disputes that. By the way, it's perfectly fine for people to be asking questions about injuries. I will say that. After last season and what's going on, I will say that. After last season and what's going on this season, it's valid. By the way, the Fever doing that profitable shit every day, she's profitable. No, that's bullshit too. You're hiding what the actual real scenario is involving this injury. The injury that there was none. Remember? They swore up and down there wasn't one. Anyway, Clark is a transcendent player. No one disputes that. Her logo threes remain transcendent player. No one disputes that. Her logo threes remain worth the price of admission. Her ability to flip a game in an instant makes the Indiana Fever a must-watch whenever they play. If you want to teach a kid how to menace opponents, have them watch a highlight reel of Clark's passes. This also isn't a criticism of Clark's trash talking or pearl clutching, because women's athletes dare to have the same competitive fire as athletes. Player beefs like Clark's with Tiffany Hayes of the Valkyries are part of what makes sports so